but having your ears open and your mind open to actually deal with someone else's agenda but not your own.
Hi there, welcome to today's vlog. Today we're doing a very special Coffee with Dan with one of my adult students, Dennis. Now, Dennis is like so many of my adult students that I meet around here. He's got a fascinating backstory. He is a doctor, he's a GP, as we call them in this country, a family doctor that you have in the States. This is what I love about being able to teach adult students, is you just meet so many amazing people with so many fascinating stories throughout life. I've got one of my students, we've got something like Dennis, who's a doctor who, speaks French fluently as well and is doing these kind of things. I've got research scientists that go out to Antarctica. You can watch more about it in this vlog. I've got people who are stem cell research scientists, people who are curing cancer, kind of teachers, other musicians, people who are artists. It's just financial advisors, stockbrokers, bankers, all sort of different walks of life. And I love each and every one of their stories and why they've got into jazz music. And there's a lot of parallels, despite what the walk of life is, what the background is, what their kind of skills are that go into making a person think. And comment below. Tell me what you guys do. Tell me what got you onto the saxophone and how possibly it relates to your job. Because I'm really looking forward to this talk we're going to have with Dennis about what jazz can teach those in medicine.
I'm getting the squeaks because I'm not playing properly.
Let's just talk very quickly about your horn that you've got in there. What's your setup on that?
Okay.
So hold it up a little bit because we can see it on the camera.
Well, this is a Selma Mark 6,
yep.
like 1959.
Yeah.
And I've got this
because it's too low.
I've got this beautiful horn because you helped me choose it.
I did, and we looked. It was 4 years ago today. Yeah. So we picked it out of a lot of different Mark 6s, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it came in an original case, and it's an absolutely beautiful horn.
And it is
58, isn't it?
Oh, 58.
Yeah, 58. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
58.
And you've got a custom neck.
Yeah. So it's
KB sax neck.
So it's an American sax neck.
Well, of course, you can watch the review of Dennis's actual neck up here in this video, because that was one of the ones I got sent over. And what's the mouthpiece?
The mouthpiece is a retro revival, so it's an auto link.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the company, these links are notorious for being very variable.
Yes.
So I think what the company's done is actually find some that actually play well.
Yeah.
And then
copied them. Yeah.
Completely copied them. So it's a link.
Great.
I've spent a lot of my career teaching medical students and young doctors, and the things that we learn from improvisation, I mean, we do it all the time, we do it so it's second nature, we don't think it's that important, but we're actually developing a really good, difficult, transferable skill.
Yeah.
To actually have confidence in yourself. And what I was trying to say really to the other doctors was that there is an equivalence. Is that like in jazz, it doesn't work unless you've got this discipline. You actually have to practice hard every day. Do your scales, do your tone, do everything. You practice really hard. You do the difficult bit, so you make it look effortless.
Yes.
When you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then and I was introducing them to Charlie Parker's adage, which is forget all that
and play. Yeah, we won't bleep that bit out, but
and just play.
I mean, you sent me some of the slides through, and one of the things you said was embrace errors, which worried me a little bit when I was thinking about doctors, because obviously we can make mistakes as saxophone players, but often within medicine, I mean, obviously, I guess as a lay person, we feel that errors are pretty are pretty horrendous if doctors make them. Well, I guess throughout the normal course of a life, we all make errors. We're all human.
Well, that's the point, and that's the point that doctors feel exactly the same, generally speaking. We don't go into medicine to hurt people, we go into medicine to try and make people better, but it's inevitable that things are going to go wrong. It's just the way it works. If you say there's a 99% chance that you haven't got appendicitis.
Yes.
You only have to do it 100 times.
Yes, and one time it's wrong. Yeah.
With you got it wrong, and you hope that you've got to put safety measures in place to catch that 1%.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't. I mean, and that's the point I was making really, is that actually we do put the safety measures in, and often we focus on iras because actually nothing bad has happened. It's just you feel bad, because one of the skills that I've certainly made a speciality of in my jazz career is actually recovering from errors.
Yes,
You go, oh my goodness, that sounded awful.
Yeah.
How can I make it sound right?
Yeah.
And you get better and better, and you can make it better.
Very much so.
You can make it better within a millisecond.
And it chimes in with something else you've said, which is really important, which we all need to do within life, but especially within the discipline of jazz, and obviously within being a doctor, is learning to listen.
Yeah,
and becoming better listeners.
And that's exactly it, isn't it? The example I gave was, all the examples are usually Miles Davis based.
Yeah.
But the example I gave was when Herbie Hancock once said, and he wrote about how he'd actually done something completely wrong, and it was just the wrong note, it just did not go. But he just noticed that Miles went with it, and then all of a sudden they were playing together, and the music was going off in a different direction, and as a band they'd taken it to somewhere else. And so that's.
And again, I guess like the first thing, embracing an error, to make it by listening, you embrace the error and then make something new out of it, and something better.
But that's one of the first things you learn in jazz is that there are no wrong notes in jazz. Perhaps some poor choices.
Yeah, or just wrong resolutions, as Bert said.
Wrong resolutions.
So the third thing was the art of conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that work in a doctor-patient relationship rather than sort of...
Well, it's about letting it flow. I mean, when jazz is really working for me, I don't know about with you, it's kind of when I'm feeling that I'm having a conversation with a pianist and with a drummer. I'm not sure I converse with a bass player, but nobody does.
Sorry to all the bass players out there.
That was a joke.
Yes, no, I know. Right.
Yeah, but I feel so thrilled when I've played something and I hear the pianist echo it, and then I hear the same rhythm coming from the drummer, and then all of a sudden we're talking together, and I'm playing differently. It doesn't happen very often. But
how does that work in a good doctor-patient scenario, or even doctor-to-doctor scenario?
The idea is having your ears open and your mind open to actually deal with someone else's agenda but not your own. So in the terms of a consultation, someone will come in, and if you're not careful, especially these days, the computer's screaming at you, this person hasn't had their blood pressure measured, you don't know whether they're a smoker or not, they haven't been in for a smear, they haven't had this, they haven't had that, and you've got your own agenda. I've got to get through this in the next 15 minutes. But actually, if you just have the confidence, you can do all that, because listen to what they've got to say, and if they say something, have the confidence to have a conversation about it. The
last thing I wanted to ask you about is you've actually got a musical lineage in a famous Caribbean saxophone player called Bertie King.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about Bertie King.
Well, Bertie King is my grandfather, and he was a Jamaican. He was actually born in Panama, but he was a Jamaican jazz band leader. Bertie King and the Jamaican All Stars, but he played in the UK a lot in the 30s and the 40s. He played with all the famous names. He ended up going to the States. He died in the USA. But yeah, he was an alto saxophone player, and his style was really smooth swing. I mean, in fact, he told me, I don't like jazz, I only play swing.
Right. Well, Dennis, thank you very much for that. I guess it would be really interesting to know how jazz has influenced architecture or mathematics or statistics or science. So if we've got anybody else there who wants to sort of chime in on that, please do, because it's really, really interesting. I know that there are occasionally workshops about how jazz can transform business, which is probably the best, fastest, quickest way to go out of business, is to act like a jazz musician. The great Ronnie Scott used to say, how do you make £1 million playing jazz? You start with 2 million, you soon be down to 1 million. So Dennis, thank you very much. I think we'll play something now. What do you want to play? Should we play blues? Or?
We can play blues. I mean, just might finish up.
Yeah?
This Saturday I'm going to see Art Thiemann in Southwell, and he's 80 plus years old, but he's a retired orthopaedic surgeon.
Right.
And he became a professional jazz musician after he retired.
Well, there you go, that's the target to go for. Yeah. F sharp G. I think to practice that, because at the end of it you've got an enclosure.
Yeah.
So well, I really enjoyed that conversation with Dennis. I hope you did too. I hope you found something useful from it. You know, particularly I think that thing about, we often get fearful about doctors making mistakes, and so do doctors, but so do jazz musicians, and so do students about jazz, you know, kind of making mistakes. And we all have to be an awful lot more forgiving to ourselves. Obviously, when we make mistakes, it often doesn't affect people's lives as musicians, but as we go through there. So thank you very much for watching today's vlog. Don't forget to check out my last vlog here. This is what I was up to this time last year, and if you don't already, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you really soon. Bye bye.